Hi guys, it's Kanisha with Peace, Love, and Happiness. I was not planning on doing a video, however, I just had an epiphany and I decided I'm going to do a video real quick because I think it'll be very helpful. And this is on how not to leak your energy and to really focus your attention and love on self. And I recognize this. I was sitting here and I was watching something and I realized that I was thirsty. I was like, oh, I'm thirsty. I really want some water. And I looked around because a lot of times I'll have water here at my desk because I work here a lot. And there's no water. And I was like, oh, I'll just get up and I'll get up in a little bit. And all of a sudden I sneezed 3 times. And it brought me back to center. My center brought me back to my present moment. And I heard, go get your water, take care of your basic needs. And I was just like, oh, it's like I can see how I would neglect my basic needs a lot, even if it's just as little as oh, let's get water here in a little bit, and it's just kind of like it's like a lazy energy. It's an energy that I really don't feel I don't want to work from anymore, and it's been an energy that I've been sitting in for a minute, and I've been asking the universe, God, source, whatever you want to call it, higher self, how do I shift out of this energy? Like, what am I doing, and how do I shift out of it? And this moment with the water, I realized that oh, there's a lot of things that I'll be like, I'll do that here in a little bit. I'll do that here in a little bit. And that is what we call ego. Because if I really feel into my feelings, I really did want water at that time. I was thirsty. That's why my body's like, hey, you're thirsty. You're ready for water. Whatever it is that let me know that I was thirsty. Because I was like, I really do want something to drink. But yet, even though it's 10 feet that way, I was just like, oh, I'll get it here in a minute. And I think about all the times that I've done that to myself instead of really truly listening to what I really desire and want and then taking action. It just hit me. I was just like, oh my gosh. And I was realizing some things. One, the sneeze. That's something that I've started to really recognize over a period of time, is that when I'm resisting making a change or recognizing something or receiving something that source is trying to tell me, I will have a sneeze fit for up to 3 sneezes, and or I've had 14, 15 sneezes in a row, especially when I'm hard resisting. And I realized as a kid, I had really bad allergies, and I had really, it was as soon as I laid down, all of a sudden, I couldn't breathe. I was so clogged up. We couldn't understand. We couldn't figure out why. It wasn't seasonal seasonal allergies or anything like that. It was just, I lived with allergies, and kids are the closest thing to source. And I was very aware as a kid that I was different, I guess. I spoke, I always sensed past ones, and I don't explain this. As a young kid to probably about 10, I could recall sensing past loved ones and feeling them. I knew when they were in the room. I knew when I wasn't alone. And I, as a kid, had a lot of imaginary friends. I was very I had a huge imagination. But there was times where these people that I was having an imaginary friendship with were very real to me, very real. And I would have very real experiences. I don't know how to explain this because I've never explained this to anyone, but I would get caught talking to myself, and I had, especially my younger brother, or if I don't know, I would hear my parents sometimes be Kanisha is losing it. Kanisha is I don't know, she's kind of an odd one. She'd be talking to herself in there and da da da. Not realizing that I was very sensitive to energy, and like I said, those who have passed. And so I had very vivid dreams as a kid, and I would hear things, and I would see things out of the corner of my eye, and just stuff that made me kind of feel odd and weird. And as a kid, I was always trying to be accepted. And this is kind of where this energy comes from, actually, now that we're getting to the core of it, is people pleasing. And that's where you put other people before you in any situation. If I was sitting here probably and I was like, oh, I'm thirsty, I'll go get that in a minute. But say I'll be straight up real with y'all. Say my twin flame was sitting here, was like, can you go get me water? I'd be like, yeah, go get up and go get it. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. Not unless we're putting Kanisha first. Like, as soon as I made that like realization, I was like, girl, like you cannot be putting people, especially your twin flame. You cannot put your twin flame before you because your twin flame is gonna mirror that and it ain't gonna be fun. However, you just can't do that in general. You need to be putting God then you first. And if you need these basic things and you're not giving them to yourself, what makes you think that you're going to give yourself the big things or go after the big things that your heart truly desires? That's crazy realization, y'all. So I'm like sitting here and I'm thinking about these things, and I realized that where a lot of it comes from, in a sense, it always comes back to childhood. But as my biological father had made a choice that he didn't want to be in my life, and that's okay. He was going through his own stuff. I've forgiven him completely. I do not blame him or hold any grudges or anything like that. It took me forever to figure out that I was holding on to that because I was like, oh, my biological father wasn't in my life. It's not a big deal. Like, he didn't do anything to like create any trauma or anything like that. But then stuff was coming up in my consciousness and stuff like that. So I asked God, like, what is this? And he showed me that I had a belief that because my biological father chose not to stick around, that a part of my I'm not enough belief, that's where that came from. Because if I was enough, why would he leave? It had nothing to do with me. I had to come to that realization. It had nothing to do with me and everything to do with him and everything that he went through in his childhood. And he didn't have a father either. So a lot of these patterns are passed down, and I totally got it. So I was able to forgive him. And crazily enough, y'all, I forgive him energetically. I surrender him back to God. I see him as a child of God. And like a week later, he messages me, and we don't have conversations. My birthday is the day before his. So I get a happy birthday from him, I love you, and I send him a happy birthday, I love you. Or I say thank you, I love you, and then the next day I send him a happy birthday, I love you, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. And then when I started doing this inner work, this healing using the mirror exercise taught by Jeff and Shalia through Twin Flames Universe, Twin Flame Ascension School, heck, I started learning how to use the mirror exercise, and I healed my upsets around my biological father using that. And I kid you not, like a week later, he like texted me and he was like, hey, thinking about you and the boys. Just wanted to say I love you and hope you're doing well. You want to say what? I was so confused for a second because I was like, I have never received love like that before from him. But because I had forgiven him and loved him unconditionally where he was and chosen to release any resentment or any negative energy towards him, and then realize that like I was already unconditionally loved and that my worth didn't come from his love, and that I was what's the word I'm looking for? What's coming to me is whole, complete without him having to be there. Like, it was just like it was really crazy to like realize that I could like heal that upset, that relationship within me, and then it be reflected on the outside. So imagine if you heal the relationship with self and the stuff that would be reflected on the outside. Like, I don't know how to, like, it's crazy. It's a crazy realization that's coming to me. Anyways, I realized because he had made that choice that I tried to compensate in a sense of when my stepfather and I's relationship, like I would try extra hard, or like I always felt like I had to like be like a certain standard or be good or be best so that my stepfather wouldn't leave. It was just this subconscious pattern that was happening that I didn't realize was happening. it was unhealthy. And even through high school, I was always like, oh, I have to do this so that I don't get in trouble, or so that that all this stuff. And my stepfather has recognized these things. He has apologized. He was a military man. He had a rough childhood too. Like, I'm just realizing that our parents can only love us and the way that they were loved. And a lot of our parents are still sleeping, if that's what we want to call it. My stepdad is more woke than anyone of my either one of my parents, and so he sees, he's starting to see it, he's starting to get it. We're able to have, because I've healed my relationship with him using the mirror exercise. He's also apologized too about things that I've never spoken to him about, and then I would heal the upset and heal where I was like, oh, I recall like this day where like I I hope he never sees this, but I'm gonna share it. I was on the basketball court one day, y'all, and I was probably like fifth grade, and I'm running down the court, and I was a big girl, guys. I've been this height, 5'7", since second grade. I was the tallest girl in my elementary school from second grade to fifth grade, like unbelievable. And they used to call me Sasquatch. So I had a lot of like self-esteem issues happening. I had frizzy hair. I was one of like maybe 8 or 9 black girls in my entire elementary school. Like, I had size C boobs in kindergarten, wearing a sports bra in my kindergarten picture. Like, it, like, just childhood was a little rough, and I had a lot of things to go back and heal and love myself in those places. But fifth grade, running down the basketball court, and I hear, "Get that piano off your back!" And of course, my stepdad yelling at me, pretty much telling me I'm slow. Like, goes, what happened there? And I just remember just feeling like I'm not enough. And even though that wasn't his intention, and he did it with my brothers too. And like I said, he was a military man, so I think that right there should kind of cover a lot of that. However, he has apologized for these things, and we're able to have adult conversations about them. And by me healing it within, it was reflected to me that it was time uh, for either a conversation to happen, and or apology came through, and or actually just healing and mending happened in that relationship. Sorry, I saw a thing and I said like it wasn't recording, but I hope that it is. We're gonna keep recording until I see it again. Anyways, so yeah, it was being reflected on the outside. So I'm like starting to really come to terms that like, if you really start truly putting yourself first and loving yourself first and not people pleasing, which is what I have been doing my entire childhood. And so I'm now getting really clear that this isn't a pattern that I get to live off anymore, because it does not serve me. It is now time to really start putting all my attention and energy on myself. And it's okay to back my energy up from other people. And I'm starting to notice and recognize the friends and family who want me around because my energy is so high. And they get high off of it, really. Like, they're like, oh, like, I love when Kanisha's around because this and this. And then as soon as Kanisha leaves, they're like back to like this slothy kind of like energy, or like, I don't even know. But I'm really starting to learn that and feel which relationships have an equal give and take. And right now, my inner self is really saying, I want an equal give and take. I want to like you to give me attention, Kanisha, and then naturally I can give out and do things that I love and do things out of love, instead of doing things out of obligation or feeling like I have to like serve someone else other than the Lord. All right. So I hope that was helpful uh, to just share that. That just kind of like came to me, and I realized that it needed to probably be shared with everyone. And it is really, truly important and like crucial that you put yourself first. Like, you are the number one person in your life. You are the star of the show in your life. If your life was a movie, you would be the star. Okay, let's take care of you that way. All right. I hope this was helpful. I love you guys. You have a great night. Please like, share, and subscribe. Peace, love, and happiness.